guys, it's Danny, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2015 MacBook Air, which I have right here. There's the baseline configuration, just so you guys know. I'm reviewing it and seeing how good this thing does in 2021, and seeing how good this thing does, just performance, battery life, everything that people care about in this Macs. And remember, this is a MacBook Air that says Intel chips. It's not that great, so I'm going to be reviewing and seeing how well this thing actually does. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'll start out with the design first, because one of the key features in the MacBook Air. So this is the wedge shape design. You got your MagSafe right here. It's MagSafe, pretty cool. Got your USB port, a headphone jack, which is pretty sick. I'm pretty sure this only has one fan, so it's pretty silent, which is pretty good. You got your Thunderbolt port. I'm pretty sure this is Thunderbolt 1 or 2nd generation, because none of the 3 or 4 generations have this, and this is probably 2 or 1. Got your SD card slot, and then USB port right here, and then you got an SD card slot right over here, which is pretty good set of features here, and performance is pretty good. So what about the performance? How good does this thing do? Well, this thing does fairly well. Performance works fairly fine. Everything works nice and smooth as you expect on a Mac. Works pretty well. And one thing here is that the specs on this thing, just really quickly, basic specs is that the baseline config is it has a 1.6 gigahertz dual Intel chip Core i5, and it's pretty decent. It has 4 gigabytes of LPDDR3 RAM, still decent too. And it has 128 gigabytes of flash storage, so not that bad. It's not that bad still. It's pretty good. Then you got Intel HD graphics, and that's about it for this. It's not that good either. It's a pretty baseline config. So how does performance stack up in this thing? Well, performance is great. It's good. It's good. I gotta say that. It works really well. Goes really well. The Wi-Fi here is pretty decently fast, so it probably load a website in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So if you have a website right now, probably loaded in about 5-4 seconds. That's pretty good. Got everything gapped up, and everything is ready, set to go. So performance is fine. Just overall browsing in and correction has 8 gigabytes of LPDDR3 RAM, just so you know. So you got everything works really well, decently good. And you got your stuff here. There's macOS Catalina, so it's pretty good. And so I gotta say, it works really well. The performance really well. Opening, my grandpa does regularly. He does files. He uses lots of Keynote. He's a pastor. He's a missionary, so he uses lots of Keynote. He's trying to start a church here, so he uses lots of Keynote. And then he uses his mail. Got your maps. Everything here is in order. It just doesn't match your beat. And this thing performance works really well. It's kind of slow transferring the files, big files and stuff like that, but it works really well. And the keyboard and not the keyboard. This also supports AirPlay, and it has Bluetooth 4.0, which is pretty good. And the battery life here, the battery life on this MacBook Air is a 54 watt battery, so 54 watt hour battery. So it's pretty good. Battery life here is, it's not the greatest. It's been through a lot. It's 4 years old, so the battery life just dropped 2%. I just had it right here, was 73, and now 71. So battery life is not the greatest, but it's doable for a day. I think this will last you about 4 hours. For me, it does. I usually watch some videos on my grandpa's laptop, but still, it works pretty decently well. Battery life is not it's good. It's good. Not the best, but still, it's pretty good. And also the Intel chips do not work that well with this machine. Still pretty good. Not that you have Apple Silicon, you should definitely want to upgrade still, but still, it works really well here. It works decent. The performance is good. And one thing you gotta know is that this thing probably does not have any fans. So if you're trying to do a video editor, if you video edit on this, good for you. But video editing is not strongest point on this. Tried doing the thing on iMovie, and it felt terrible. It was choppy, it was terrible. So I wouldn't really edit. I actually edit my videos sometimes on the 2018 MacBook Pro that has 16 gigabytes of LPDDR3 RAM, Intel Iris Plus graphics, and it has a Core i7. So it's much better than this dual Core i5, but still works really well. Anyway, it's pretty basic. Not the best. Performance wise, it does fairly well. And now about the display. It's one of the things you're going to encounter on a Mac a lot, so let's see how good this thing does. The highest resolution is 1440p times 900 times 900 pixels, which is pretty good. And it has a 60:10 aspect ratio, and it's pretty good. Still pixels look, it's not that sharp. As the newest Mac, so if you actually look at it, you can actually see the pixels. It looks kind of not that sharp. Text doesn't really look that good. Still, it does the job. It does pretty well. It's not the best, I guess, sure, but still, It works pretty well. So this display works pretty well. I mean, not the sharpest, not the highest resolution, obviously, but still it works really well. Let me just search up if this thing can support 4K. Here we go. I'm expecting it should support 4K because I mean it's 1440p. So let me just see if this thing works here. Not even sure if it will, but I mean, just try it out. So it does. Nope, it does not support 4K. Supports only 1080p. So it's not a 4K display. It only supports 1080p, which I mean, the resolution I mean kind of tells it right here. So yeah, it's not that good. The brightness here, it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure versus 400 nits or even 350 nits because I mean the battery is not that bright. My grandpa usually has this at full brightness here, so not that good. Still, I mean it's pretty decent. I mean it works well. Display isn't really that good. I mean it's usable, but the sharpness is just not there. But overall it works pretty well. So the display is solid B, I guess. And we're gonna move on to the keyboard. One of the strongest points in the MacBook Air is that I love a lot about this keyboard. So the keyboard on this machine is excellent. I love it. It's awesome. It has scissor switches, and it's really good. It is super cool and nice. It is awesome. I love this thing. It is amazing. Just hear how this sound looks, and just hear how it sounds, just like a Magic Keyboard. So it works really well. I love the keyboard. It is awesome about it. It is really good. Now one thing about this, it is a backlit keyboard, which is pretty good. Scissor switches, not butterfly switches. The butterfly one started in about 2015 when Apple decided went with the MacBook and just started using that butterfly keyboard. But it wasn't really that good. It failed a lot. But this is pretty good. The keyboard is awesome. I love this on this thing. And it's really good. You have a backlight, and then which is pretty good, I guess. Its backlight's pretty good. And while we're in this keyboard thingy, the trackpad is a trackpad here. Speaking about so the trackpad here is a multi-touch trackpad. So see, it is a what do you call it? It's like a Touch ID home button. So like it's not like the ones on the iPhone 8 SE that like has like that's like a four-stroke trackpad on the MacBook Pro early 2019. So no, this is just a good trackpad that clicks a lot, just like clicks into it. On the other trackpad, you need to actually press a little bit harder to actually work. But this one is just a good trackpad. Works well. It's actually pretty sick. It looks awesome, I gotta say. It works really well. It's a pretty good trackpad. You can probably hear there. It works really nice and well. Just overall really good. These keyboard and trackpad is a solid A. It's just awesome. It's one of the best parts of this machine in my opinion because it's just super good. The keyboard and the trackpad is just amazing. Good job, Apple, in this machine doing the keyboard and the trackpad. It's just amazing. We gotta talk about the ports. We have to talk about the ports. This thing has I said before, this thing has SD card slots, everything you have, USB, a headphone jack, anything you could want on today's machines. My ideal MacBook Pro or MacBook that I would have 3 USB ports, 4 USB Thunderbolt ports, and USB-C ports. I meant, and a headphone jack, and of course an SD card slot. That would be the ideal Mac for almost everybody. Maybe not an Ethernet port, because I mean, really, I'm not sure. But so this thing has USB ports, 2 SD card slot. It is awesome. Works excellently well. Just overall, my grandpa, he just has tons of plugins and he needs every 1 or 2 for his files, and just plugs it in here, goes up, puts the password in, boom, you're in, and he just goes and does whatever he wants on it. So it is really good Mac. It is amazing, really excellent. I just gotta love this Mac. It's just the best Mac you can ever have. The ports here are pretty good. You got your standard ports pretty well. Overall, it's awesome. I mean, I just gotta love the ports. You got lots of ports here. So if you're somebody that cares about the ports, you should definitely not upgrade if your Mac is still feeling nice and smooth. But so that's up to you. So yeah, let's get on to the build quality. How good is its sturdiness? So yeah, let's see how it is. So for the Mac here, you got some pretty bad dents right here, some scratches here. My grandpa's put this a lot, so pretty beat up. But I mean, still, the build quality is really good, solid as a Mac should be. There's absolutely no flex at all in the keyboard. Well, there's a little flex, but it's not that bad. So it works really fairly well with the keyboard. So it's almost no flex at all. Works really well. And one thing about this design is that I can't even see the speakers. So I'm pretty sure it's somewhere down here. I can't even see unless it's down here. I can't even see the speaker. So not sure where the speakers are on this thing. But I mean, it still has sound. So it means it should have speakers somewhere. So let's get on to the battery life. So battery life, as I said before, as I commented before, it's not the best. I've been recording here for an actual 20 minutes, and it was started at 75%, and that's 63%. And of course, I have to maybe say it's probably because I have it at full brightness, because I mean viewing angles are kind of bad on this, since it's not 500 nits, and the battery life is not that good. So I mean, I gotta say it's not that good. So battery life isn't really that good. It's a solid B, I guess, or B minus more like it. But it's not that good. I gotta say, just web browsing, doing your everything task, it is pretty good. I mean, sure, it works really well. Go in, search up an NBA, just go like that. It works fairly well. Not that bad. I mean, still, it is pretty good. So battery life, this is solid. C, solid B minus, I guess. Not that good, but still, it is doable if you need to do it on a pitch. So yeah, it's pretty good. And we have to talk about MagSafe. So this thing, it has MagSafe, which is awesome. It's that magical thing that just Steve Jobs produced. It lasted 9 years, not even a full decade, so 9 years. So it probably was, so in case you didn't want your computer just falling down, all of it MagSafe did. It just put it in there, and it was magnetic. It just went off. The kids stripped it, so it wasn't such a big deal. So, but now it's removed. So hopefully we're seeing rumors of it coming back. So hopefully it does. I'm super excited if it comes, because that'd be awesome. Also, I really need a Mac, because I need to edit still my videos. But still, I'm trying to save up for a Mac. I'm trying to get MacBook Air Pro. I don't know. I have to see that. But still, this thing works really well. Gotta talk about MagSafe. It just works really well. And just in case you're wondering about the webcam is 720p, and I gotta say, it is not the best webcam. It is terrible. It's probably, I guess, like the 2019 MacBook Air, like the 720p webcams that you see. But the more Macs have a special, like, updated webcam. It's still 720p, but it is pretty good. Not gonna lie, the webcams work really not that good. I mean, still, if you have a good lighting, then yes, it'll look decent, but still, if you have terrible lighting, it's gonna look super grainy. But I mean, webcam, just to see, it's terrible. I don't like it. I think that's support AirPlay though, and I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for watching my review of the 2015 MacBook Air. See if you should upgrade or not. And my conclusion is, unless you're in a pinch and you really need to hurry up and get a new thing, I would actually, I guess, I could keep it. I mean, the buttons are overly huge. They're tight. They're super big. But still, I mean, I guess you could use it. It works pretty well. So yeah. Well, that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching my review, and I'll see you in the next video.